Welcome to the Generosity Experience, the podcast from Neon One, where we explore how our community show generosity, not just through money, but through relationships, time, and advocacy. I'm Tim Sarrantonio.
And I'm Sam Nyland. Together, we help nonprofit professionals connect more deeply with their communities, move supporters to meaningful action, and simplify how generosity gets done.
Each conversation brings forward the voices and insights that are shaping the future of generosity, from strategy to systems, and everything in between. We have a very special episode of the Generosity Experience podcast. In fact, October is all very special episodes of the Generosity Experience podcast because we're kind of going to do a 1-2 punch. So first and foremost, I have my co-host Sam Nyland here. Sam, how you doing?
Hey Tim, I'm doing well. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good because we are just days in many ways away from Generosity Xchange 2025.
We are.
Now, people can register at www.neon1.com/GX. But that's on the 15th and the 16th. This episode's coming out before that. We're going to do a little preview episode today. So it's not going to be a big, long one, folks. We're actually going to do kind of a preview. And then Sam and I are going to come back and we're going to do a live stream for two main reasons, Sam. Okay? Mm-hmm. You may not know this, but I'm going to tell you right now. So you're learning too.
Surprise, surprise.
Number one is we're going to do a recap episode live, because if we wait and we kind of go, we might forget like all the fun stuff that people had, because we have thousands of people who are going to be registered for this.
Yeah, we want it fresh on our minds. I get it.
So we're going to do a live stream the day after, but I'm going to have swag to give away. And we got to clear that inventory out. They charge us if we leave the inventory there.
And everyone, if you haven't seen Tim's unboxing video, and if you don't follow him on LinkedIn, you should, because he loves to unbox things. And he unboxed the Generosity Xchange swag bag or swag box.
Yeah. So this year, it's a special box with a nice notebook, a beautiful pen, actually. The pen, in full disclosure, Sam, the pen put the delivery of the box back several weeks. So, but we're doing well on some giveaways, but folks, join us afterwards on a special live stream that'll turn into the podcast episode. We're just going to take that audio and kind of, do a nice little recap episode. But for today, Sam, we're going to preview things for people who may not be up to speed on what's happening at Generosity Xchange. So I'm going to do a little bit of table setting here. What exactly is Generosity Xchange? Well, it's a virtual conference that Neon One puts on. We're a technology company. If you are this many episodes into the podcast and are not sure who we are, we haven't done our job yet. But we are a technology company that serves nonprofits. So we like to gather them. Now, Sam, when you were working at a nonprofit, just like me, you had tons of money and time to throw at professional development and travel around the country, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, tons. I'm being sarcastic, everyone.
So when you were actually back, before Neon and working at nonprofits, how would you learn your craft?
Well, I did a lot of professional development actually within just my very local community that we served. We did a lot of lunch and learns because that's the only time we could get away. And I did try a few other courses, but yeah, primarily it was within my local community.
Yeah. And I've been obsessed with this for a while now. We started Generosity Xchange in 2020. So sorry, folks. We are actually coming up to the 6th Generosity Xchange. We started in August. So technically that's why it's 6. And we moved it to October the next year. And so the reason has always been accessibility and equity as the core. The reason it's a virtual conference that doesn't cost you anything is so you can benefit from it. But I've been obsessed personally with making sure this is not pitch central. Now, Sam, I am going to tag you in shortly I want to talk about our keynotes, but I want to make sure that we focus on the tech stage, because there is a lot of cool stuff happening with the technology. But folks, this is unlike some of the conferences you may register for. This is not a thing that you're going to get, slammed in the chat by a bunch of salespeople who are trying to get you to buy our products. That is not the purpose of this event. It is truly deeply focused on making sure people connect with each other and connect with the technology better, right? Because ultimately, we're trying to empower personal connections to help people grow.
Yep.
That's it. But we do that in a few ways. So kind of where I've been working with Sam and her team is on how the product comes through. So the way we organize the actual event is this year there'll be 2 stages. So when you log in on the 15th and 16th of October, starting at 11:30 Eastern time, we'll open it up a little bit early. I'm going to have a co-host, Rachel D'Souza of Gladiator Consulting, and we're going to be hanging out on the main stage doing some thought leadership content that I'll talk about shortly. But Sam, you're on the tech stage. So what's happening on the tech stage?
Yeah, so we have a lot happening on the tech stage. We have a few segments which are called lightning rounds, which are little rounds from our 2025 Generosity Award winners. So we have a small nonprofit, we have a mid-sized nonprofit, and we have a larger nonprofit who won our awards for donation form best practices. So they share a lot of insight about just building their forms and some best practice tips for what makes those forms convert. So those are fun things to tune into. I'm personally excited. We have a really cool session on Wednesday, which is the 15th, called From Clicks to Connections, Marketing Wins with Neon Tools. And that one is really all about using our Neon Websites platform or Neon CRM and using an array of tools. So that can be email marketing, that could be building and designing a landing page that converts well. But we are talking about the cool features that can be used within Neon One Tools. And we actually have clients that will be presented in these sessions as well. So, and then on, let's see, the tech stage on Thursday, we have the Event Advantage. Power users are going to share some of their secrets. So we have really 2 different styles of organizations. We have a larger orchestra organization who does a lot of performances. So they're using our Arts People platform, but also using Next Gen Events for they host a big mac and cheese event. So totally different types of events within the same organization. So get to hear tips and tricks from that. And the other presenter is a maker space. So they're a smaller organization. They do a lot of classes, a lot of workshops, a lot of members only events. They're very kind of grassroots driven. So we have a lot in store for all different sizes of organizations. So I think the tech stage is really going to be a place where you can kind of be like, oh yeah, that's me. Or wow, this is a really large organization. And you can learn some really cool tips and tricks from, an array of different types of orgs. So that's what I'm most excited about.
I think what pairs with that is this is the year that we've had the most customer integration into the event. I don't know about you folks who are listening, but you don't tend to see, especially smaller organizations, they just don't have the capacity to do conferences or presentations because they might feel like, one, they don't have the time to do it, or it's going to be very regional, like what you were talking about, Sam. But in practice, even for the technology companies, a lot of times I've seen it's mainly staff or it's a bunch of consultants. And those are things because they're easy to field. The reality is that if I have somebody who drops out to because they can't, speak or something came up, I have a pretty deep bench of consultants that I can turn to who are going to go, yeah, I'll absolutely speak. And we love that. That's helped me in the past. But the reality is that if that happens on the customer side, it's a little bit harder. And that's also the last thing that I'm going to get angry about or annoyed about, because it's like things happen
on life happens.
Life happens. And so we're so grateful for everybody who either could make it or have talked to us about doing this. And that's what we want to encourage more of. My dream is in the future, I hope this event, like 80% of it is just people who are using the platform and talking about it and doing things like that. So,
and I think you hit on a good point, Tim, because while this is, it's not yet a user conference, but I think that's what is making this kind of tech stage so different this year, because it really is users who are actively building events, who are actively in the system, and like they're doing it all. And again, that's precious time, but they're willing to share that with us. And I think this is by far my most exciting year for
I agree. And one of the things that made sure that type of ethos came through too is because we partner with Rachel D'Souza on the main stage to do a very similar approach there. It has to be actionable. So we were very intentional about choosing people like Mina Das, and one of my favorite things, spoiler, that I'll even say coming out of her AI session, and don't glaze over, folks, if you're listening and you're like, oh God, an AI session. It's like, that's the point, is that a lot of these things are just about, why, and making you feel bad about not doing something. And Mina took such a different approach, but the practical thing she even talked about is like, hey, if you're building out, a new bot or using Gemini or something like that, build in your AI policy right into it and say, follow this, right? That's a very practical thing that even I immediately after that talk, I know people are going to start using that because I started doing that type of thing. Or we have people like Mallory Erickson who are talking about practical, meaningful ways that you can connect with people through conversations. And so that's going to carry through. We have some nice panels too, because we're trying to spotlight leadership in a few different ways. So we have some customers who are joining Rachel on the main stage to talk about how to not over rely on major donors. Right?
Yeah.
Most of the conference, and this is a bit of a spoiler, if you are playing the community bingo game that we are doing on the second day. So again, if you go to neon1.com/GX, you can even see the whole schedule here. Day 2 is community bingo. It's going to be inspired by the research that Abby Jarvis, who is speaking as well with Woodrow Rosenbaum of Giving Tuesday, all of the bingo things are going to be inspired by the research that we did earlier this year on the Generosity Report, or the new cool addendum that we just had come out on Giving Tuesday and end of the year. So if you're like, ooh, I want to get ahead of it, why don't you go read the reports?
Better read up real quick.
Read up on the reports. So so generosity is everywhere is kind of the theme, right? Because that's going to allow you to build those personal connections that help you grow. And so I'm really excited because it's both strategic, but to your point, Sam, very tactical and useful immediately.
It's a little bit of everything. You can kind of pull and dabble, and you can, I guess, Tim, what can you say for, maybe we have some listeners that are brand new to Neon One, and this is their first Generosity Exchange.
Well, I'm going to say it's unlike any virtual conference for sure that you've ever attended. And I would even, as somebody who attends a lot of physical conferences, probably better than a lot of physical conferences that you go to too, because we take a lot of care and attention on the experience. So we chose a very good platform. It's very user friendly. You could set up your profile and personalize it. We have speed networking, so we could do some interesting networking that you could connect with your peers. We have some leadership development elements, besides the fact that we have the Nonprofit Leadership Alliance talking about their CNP program, their Certified Nonprofit Professional. We have our senior leadership team actually joining and doing some roundtable presentations on a few select topics. So if you're struggling to articulate tech to your board, right? That's a really cool session that you're going to benefit from Dove Diamond on our sales team, head of sales over here. So that's just one example. But I would say that the things that really make it stand out is also the top tier talent that we can attract for the keynotes. And so in the past, we've had people like Voulet, Edgar Villanueva, but this year we have Diane Yentl of the National Council of Nonprofits. So if you haven't been paying attention, she's kind of doing a lot to make sure that our sector stays safe, that our sector stays grounded in values and democratic institutions. And so we're really proud to have her and our CEO, Keith Reed, have a really powerful conversation and then be joined by some folks from Pennsylvania specifically to kind of get more of a state and even local context there. But a lot of it really comes down to that peer learning. So the chat is going to be hopping, folks. There's going to be a lot of conversations. You can connect with people afterwards. And we're going to have some fun and games as well. So Sam, you actually put me in touch with the folks from Binghamton Philharmonic. They're going to be doing a concert for us.
I did. And yeah, spoiler, I didn't say. Paul is actually presenting at the events session on Thursday. So he is the one who runs all the orchestra performances and puts on his big mac and cheese event.
This can't happen without the support of our sponsors. And so I wanted to make sure that we called out our sponsors because a lot of we are very proud that we pay every single person, that we have a great platform, that we give donations out. So those are kind of baseline things that are covered, but these little extra touches to have a concert that plays for people, to send out really nice swag boxes for people, to do all these extra things. First and foremost, I want to thank Windfall. Windfall is our top sponsor, our premier sponsor. A lot of the things that are happening that are really, really kind of taking it to the next level, including some dinners. We're actually even testing out some dinners in a few select locations. So if you were listening to this and you are in upstate New York by Albany and the Atlanta metro area, please email me or contact me, and we might have a spot for you. We got a few spots left for these special VIP dinners. Thank you to Windfall for making things like that happen, but also New Clavis. I would say, I was starting to make swag orders the moment that New Clavis was like, we are in. So you've heard Kathy earlier this year. You heard Kyle earlier this year on our podcast. Many thanks to those folks. But also the Nonprofit Leadership Alliance, Visa, UJoin, and Chariot. Want to thank them for their support too. So a lot of this can't happen without that bigger community. And so we're really grateful for them. But, at the end of the day, though, everything is about that community and building those organizations up. So, Sam, what are some main things? What is like one big takeaway? Let's end on this. What is one big takeaway that you think people are going to have going into 2026 that they can use from this conference?
Yeah, I think Tim, you kind of nailed it on the head a little bit with just you'll be able to take away, honestly, from our main stage, some really good, bold ideas and bold strategies that I think you can take back to your teams. Whether that is information or insights from the data session with Abby and Giving Tuesday, whether that is learning from Mallory Erickson about community and fundraising, whether it's from Rachel D'Souza, but really learning some strategies that you can maybe implement in kind of your 2026 vision. And then I think from the tech stage, or from kind of more an application view, is hopefully gaining some insights and some ideas. Like, hopefully this is thought provoking. I think like the thing I love about Generosity Xchange, it is in the platform itself, is you'll find that it's very interactive. Like, I've sat on a virtual conference where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go, run and get a snack again. But like, I feel like this conference, people are very engaged. Like, you don't want to miss anything. Like, you honestly, I've sometimes when I was like, oh, I have to go get a snack, I'm like, I kind of will have FOMO if I'm not like interacting. So I think that's what people are going to walk away with is like some strategies, some real applicable things they can do within their Neon One tools. And then also the biggest thing, a sense of support from other Neon One users and hopefully Neon One in general. And then also just motivation, like a little boost in your step to like say, hey, yeah, I'm ready to do this, whatever that do this may be.
I love that. And a lot of the structure of this year has been based on that community feedback. We're always very deeply listening to our community in a lot of different ways to improve the experience overall. And my particular domain and obsession is this event. And so I apply that ethos into all the different components here. So one of the things that we've done is we've shortened the session times. It's a lot going to be feel like a snappier, faster conference in a way without losing you along the way. So we'll have a lot of supportive elements. Everything's being recorded. There's a whole guidebook. There's tons of workbooks, decks that you'll be able to download, digital swag. But we're also building in some time for pausing and intention. So I've worked with a wellness expert to even have a dedicated set of 10 minutes we're going to pause and we're going to reconnect with ourselves before these big keynotes. And so that is why our time in the conference is so high. Like people are in it. They're in it for hours. And that's what's really, really exciting is that people are locked in, they're connected, and they're learning with each other.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. I can't wait. It's my favorite time of the
year.
Yeah. So, Sam, where can they go register again? I'm going to leave you with the final word.
You can go to www.neon1.com/Generosity Exchange.
We'll see you on the 15th and 16th, folks.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Generosity Experience. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platform. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening to the Generosity Experience. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platform. We'll see you in 2 weeks.